I gotta admit, the end of the Fever Mercury game made me sit up for a second because it got a little spicy with Caitlin Clark having an interaction with Dewanna Bonner out on the middle of the floor, sort of waving her back to the bench.
Well. Dana Bonner appears to have made the worst choice of her season, picking a battle with Caitlin Clark in the middle of a Mercury against Fever matchup. Yeah, that one backfired instantly. Fans witnessed it, the cameras recorded it, and now the internet is making fun of it. The league can't bury this. I would like to know who, in your opinion, looked worst during the entire exchange.
Now, we all know that the Indiana Fever is trying to make a push for the playoffs. We've been getting mixed signals coming out about Caitlin coming back, about Caitlin being, somewhat ready to go. Then we got Stephanie White saying it's day-to-day again, basically. Well, I'm here to tell you, Caitlin Clark is not shying away from making headlines.
Now, let's get started. In her second season, Caitlin Clark is already the talk of the town. Whether she's walking across the floor breathing, setting up teammates with absurd passes, or making logo threes. The WNBA, whether they realize it or not, runs on Caitlin Clark right now. And what happens when a veteran like Dana Bonner tries to puff her chest out and dispute that spotlight? You have instant regret. Because Caitlin Clark is skilled at turning these minor conflicts into major plot points, you get the kind of viral footage that will follow her for the entire season. And the fans love it, I promise.
Point in time. But that interaction stood out to me for a couple of reasons. I mean, number one, obviously, is the history there, where Dewanna Bonner was on the Fever for a cup of coffee and then winds up on the Mercury. Before the season, Caitlin Clark said she wanted to win a ring for her, right? She said, I want to win for her. And Caitlin Clark went out of her way to also, shine light on how Dewanna Bonner had risen up to the top of, near the top of the all-time WNBA scoring ranks. And then,
The Fever was already under duress entering into this Mercury matchup. The season has been a roller coaster, with fans feeling as though they need a medical degree to determine who is truly available to play, coaches playing the day-to-day mystery game, and injuries mounting. Caitlin Clark being in and out of practice. Chatter about groin and ankle tweaks. Then there was the argument about whether she should be tossed directly into the fire or eased back. It's all been exhausting. And then in the thick of that, you got Dana Bonner deciding it's a good time to square off with Clark. Perfect timing. Right now, Bonner's no rookie. She has enough experience in this field to understand how stories are told. Here's the problem, though. When you go at Caitlin Clark, you're not simply going at another player. You're targeting your fan base, the cameras, the reporters, and the countless highlight accounts that will repeatedly record, share, and meme your worst moment. And that's exactly what occurred here. Bonner believed that by displaying toughness, she was demonstrating that the Mercury were not going to let the Fever to invade and subjugate them. Instead, what viewers saw was a vet trying way too hard to scare the player who already gets more attention than half the league combined.
Most clutchest player on the damn team. I'm not just saying that just to say it. Lexi Hall stand on business when it's time to...
The actual exchange was almost amusing in how rapidly it escalated. Clark stood her ground, giving the hand signal like, go yell somewhere else. Bonner puffing up trying to seem like she's the master of the court. The referees are only standing like statues, acting as though they were blind to what everyone else in the arena could see. Naturally, the officiating always manages to appear inept when it comes to Caitlin Clark. Whether it's disregarding strikes to the head, swallowing the whistle on clear infractions, or flagging her for phantom travels, the refs seem allergic to treating Clark games fairly. But in this moment, the quiet of the whistle merely made Bonner appear worse, and fans noticed. The instant the clip reached Twitter, or X, but we're all still calling it Twitter, it erupted. Fans of Fever pointed out how absurd it was. Clark defended saying, "Yep, here we go again." Another vet trying to harass Caitlin. Mercury supporters, even some of them were scratching their heads, asking why Bonner picked this battle in the first place. You'd think after seeing what occurred when other players tried the same technique, Angel Ree, Kennedy Carter, even Lexi Hall getting dragged into scuffles, that maybe the league would learn. But nope, here we go again. Clark had yet another moment of welcome to the WNBA. However, she is no longer even a rookie. She's in her second season. And it's not hazing right now. It's just desperation. Because here's the reality. The Mercury are aware that their window is closing. Diana Taurasi isn't growing younger, and Bonner herself isn't exactly in the future cornerstone category either. In contrast, the Fever have Clark Aaliyah Boston and a youthful core that, with proper management, may rule for the next 10 years. That terrifies veteran teams. That causes them lash out. It's also terrible that Clark doesn't back down when she offers the talk-to-the-hand treatment in front of a full arena. It's instant regret because the clip doesn't make Bonner look tough. She appears shaken by it. The irony is that the Fever still lost the game. And yet, no one was talking about the score at the end of the night. No one was talking about how Phoenix spread the scoring around with 5 guys in double figures. The entire conversation was Clark versus Bonner. That's Caitlin. You can defeat the Fever. The struggle for the standings is something you can win. But if Clark delivers you that one viral moment, the win belongs to her. She controls the narrative and the league knows it.
The right, behind the coach coming out and jawing at Dewanna Bonner.
Let's take a moment to discuss Lexi Hall, since she is the one player in this whole affair who truly deserves flowers. She played her heart out, logging 35 minutes, dropping 18 points, and yet finding a way to lock in on defense when her team was falling apart around her. Hall's the kind of player that might not always light up the scoreboard, but when the game is close, she comes up. And it's hilarious that while Bonner was busy attempting to rattle Caitlin Clark, it was Hull who was truly giving Phoenix difficulties. But of course, we don't get a highlight reel of that. We get Bonner looking pressed while Clark nonchalantly waves her off. That leads me to the coaching of the Fever. Stephanie White, what are we doing here? You can't keep letting games slip like this, especially when the other side is putting 5 double-digit scorers on you. That's not one mismatch. That's not one hot hand. That's your whole defense strategy falling apart like a cheap lawn chair. Fans are tired of hearing the same rehashed words about being day-to-day and taking things one step at a time. At some point, the justifications wear thin. Additionally, White is witnessing her players engage in small-scale, attention-grabbing sideline disputes while juggling rotations, injuries, and media pressure. The problem is that Clark won the game without even needing to score 30 points. All she had to do was stand there, motion her away, and let the cameras do the rest. Power is that. That's influence. And that's why every single veteran who believes they can teach her a lesson ends up regretting it. Even if you shove, insult, or disparage her, she will still make headlines. No matter how much certain executives may want to, they cannot. The WNBA is unable to conceal it. On the internet, fans accurately described it. Congratulations, Dana, they said. Clark just received another viral video from you. They're correct, too. Because this is what drives the Fever fan base, whether Bonner agrees with it or not. And honestly, it fuels Clark herself. The pettiness, the naysayers, and the welcome to the league moments are what she feeds on. Additionally, the more it occurs, the more powerful her brand becomes. Veterans like Bonner, however, come across as bitter, as if they are guarding a league in dire need of new viewers and supporters. And speaking of fans, let's not disregard the reaction from the crowd. The Fever fan base has become louder, more cohesive, and more fed up with the crap every single game. They've watched Clark take cheap shots all year. They've seen refs swallow the whistle while woman gets shoved to the floor. Furthermore, witnessing a seasoned player attempt to undermine her, or perhaps more accurately, oppose her, was further evidence that this league is incapable of managing its emerging star. So, what do supporters do? They turn it into more gasoline. The clip is blown up. They trend it on social media. Abruptly, Bonner's tough guy persona becomes a meme. In real time, there is instant regret. And let's not kid ourselves. Clark herself recognizes the value of these moments. She's not dumb. She realizes that every time someone comes at her, it's an opportunity to win without even putting the ball in the hoop. She is aware that the cameras are observing. She knows the supporters are ready to pounce. And she plays into it with just enough snark and confidence to make the other player look nuts. That's a skill in itself. That's why she's not just a scorer, not just a passer, but a cultural shift. And Bonner, whether she wanted to or not, just gave Clark another brick in that wall. The repercussions from this Bonner-Clark fight are almost more exciting than the actual game, because suddenly every headline isn't about the Mercury's playoff drive or the Fever issues. It concerns Dana Bonner's unsuccessful attempt to intimidate Caitlin Clark in the court of public opinion. That's the funny part. Although Bonner may have believed she had won the battle at the time, she ultimately lost it. When the video is viewed 1,000,000 times with captions mocking you for appearing pressed, you don't win. You don't win when Clark tosses you aside like background noise. And you definitely don't win when people are memeing you before the final buzzer even sounds. And here's where it gets worse for Bonner. Caitlin Clark thrives on these kinds of things. We've seen it before. She uses it as fuel whenever someone believes they can intimidate her or deliver a message. In response, she makes cross-court passes, hits logo threes, or simply looks down at someone as if challenging them to try again. That's the edge Clark brings. She doesn't need to shout. She doesn't need to chest bump. She merely makes you look ridiculous with one flick of the wrist or one sarcastic sweep of the hand. Tough rhetoric is far less effective than that. Meanwhile, the Fever are still juggling greater concerns. Defense remains fragile. Injuries loom over everything, and rotations seem to come out of nowhere. Fans are frustrated with the lack of transparency, the ambiguous daily updates, and the inability of referees to shield their idol from harm. Fans will become enraged when Bonner tries to bully Clark. Because it's not just about one fight. It has to do with the persistent disrespect on top of the poor management. But let's not act like the Mercury are suddenly the league's standard either. Indeed, they had 5 players in double figures. Yes, they're climbing in the standings, but their approach seems to include hope Clark gets upset. And if that's your game plan, good luck. Because Clark isn't rattled. She's amused. She is familiar with the workings of this league. She knows the vets are salty about the attention she gets. She is also aware that the referees won't help her. She continues to provide them with highlight clips that wind up on SportsCenter, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and other platforms rather than complaining. Speaking of highlights, Lexi Hall merits recognition once more. While Bonner was too busy jawing, Hall was quietly stacking points, defending hard, and proving again that she's the most undervalued player on this roster. You can't measure clutch on a stat sheet, but if you've watched the Fever all season, you know Hall delivers when the moment matters. In the meantime, Bonner's momentous occasion will always be remembered as the moment Caitlin Clark waved her off like a buzzing fly at a picnic. That is not legacy content. That's content for memes. So, yes, immediate regret. Bonner may have believed that she was making a statement, but all that was heard was that Caitlin Clark is the star. And honestly, it's pretty sad for the league that this is what gets attention. Instead of talking about excellent team performance or playoff races, everyone is concerned on who's attempting to harass Clark this week. However, it is the current reality of the WNBA. Whether players like it or not, Clark is the main character. And the more they fight it, the bigger she gets. This should be a straightforward lesson. Stop gifting Clark free viral moments. Stop giving her fuel because every shove, every cheap shot, and every side eye just becomes another clip that strengthens her brand. This implies that Bonner's 19 points in this game won't be remembered. She is known for losing her temper in front of Caitlin Clark and appearing to immediately regret it. So, what do you think? Was this just another innocuous altercation? Or did Dana Bonner utterly bumble by picking a fight with Caitlin Clark? Please share your opinions in the comment section below. Remember to hit the like button, subscribe, and enable notifications so you won't miss our analysis of the next WNBA meltdown.